Brandon Nimmo.
Love it.
Like defensively in center field, like I don't know if you think about last wild card game, Curtis Granderson, 2016 made a huge catch, saving let's say 1 run or maybe 2 runs, but essentially to keep the game at 0-0, kept the Mets in the game. Such a huge catch, an iconic moment for him, and probably one of his last really good ones as a Met, if not the last one. And he's just like, as what you said, like the Mets' discipline at the plate, which they kind of lost, we think, in the month of September. It starts with him. He's that guy. He's the one who's going to take the long at bats, making Darvish, really eat up his pitch count. And that's led to a lot of success for us this year. And I mean, the more pitches that, Lindor can see and Pete can see and Jeff can see, because Darvish can throw a lot. He can throw a lot of different types of pitches. He can throw a cutter. He can throw a four-seam fastball. He's got a lot of stuff in his arsenal, and he's a very efficient pitcher. And if Brandon Nimmo could be that annoying pest that he's been all year, I think that's going to make all the difference for the Mets offense.
I 100% agree. I think Nimmo has been the table setter when he really, like you said, when he does get deep into those counts to start off the game, this Mets offense thrives. Yeah, and I think the best of that was in the Yankees series. That first the first time we played him, I think he had like a 9 or 10 pitch at bat. And then next thing you know, Lindor and Pete both like, I think Lindor hit a double and then Pete drove him in. So, I love Nimmo, and I agree with that X factor. He's huge.
I think you make a great point with Brandon, where we can talk about the Washington series in a few minutes about its impact, but he, I think, is maybe one of the most players who has like earned the most from it, or at least gotten the most out of that series, where he's not just like, oh, wow, he walked a bunch. It's 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. When the bottom of the order came up and got him guys on base, he chipped in. And I think if he can get that going again, it makes that table work for Alonso and Lindor less and less, to the point it's not like, I think one of the problems the Mets offense has is that pitchers know it's all about Alonso and Lindor for the most part, and they know it too. And I know Pete is a very passionate guy, and so is Francisco. And I imagine it must eat at them a little bit when it's like, oh, we got guys on base and I didn't do my job. And this stress is going to be even magnified, especially at home, where the Boo Birds will come early and fast if things go wrong. We've seen it already. And I just don't want them to have this constant pressure on their backs, because they're better players than the people give them credit for a lot of the time. But we don't get to talk about that, because if they don't cash in, suddenly they're the pariah. So don't make them feel like they have to do everything, or else this team, I don't know, might not go far.